we had, the team went to the cup final for only the second time in history, and you could tell, the Palace fans, it was an amazing celebration of a lifelong, supporting an underdog.
You touched on the underdog there, which is interesting because we love an underdog, don't we? Leicester personified that, and teams, they were beating even their own fans towards the end of the season when they were willing them on to win that title, didn't mind almost conceding points to them because they knew they were going to do something epic. And it happens obviously a lot outside of football. Marcus Willis at Wimbledon a couple of years ago, everybody was all for the underdog, taking on the big guys. And it's in sport, it is such an exciting ride when there's an underdog doing well.
I swear every single Palace fan has just stood on their feet. There cannot be a better atmosphere inside the Premier League, and it's those moments as a fan I think that you live for.
The story of football, just thinking about the time element, which is really interesting actually, because you think back to the 80s and those series of adverts that used to go on and on, whether it's Nescafe or Bisto or those kind of, you belonged to that club almost. And now it is all so quick and it is so in your face. Football has stayed 45 minutes each half, you're there for the duration. There's nothing, nobody's ever suggested, have they, that it needs to be changed, altered or modified.
No, but what's changed is the story around it, right? The story, the narrative around it. I mean, I noticed even on Match of the Day, you get, for the highlights, you get 2-3 minutes of the game and you get a minute of the characters and the personalities and who's playing and where they've been. And now you've got Sky Sports News and you've got Twitter and you've got this amazing kind of microcosm of who's going to play, why might they be off colour, who have they been playing for, did you hear who's doing this, did you hear who's doing that. So you've got this massive, it's got such a long tail now beyond the 2:45 minutes. Ferraris, I just think, are the history attached to them and the love that's gone into them over the years, and the fact, it didn't really make any money, that car company, for years and years and years. So brands like, those iconic brands and what they stand for and the history around them and the people that have driven the cars and all those kind of things. If it's a lifelong love affair, isn't it, being a fan, or it should be.
But in the very first instance, if you go back to when you said at the very beginning, I fell in love with these incredible beings on the pitch. So the connection was human at the start. It was about those people, was it? Or did they seem so otherworldly and away from anything you could attain that they were almost fantasy figures?
Certainly when we were kids, yeah. I mean, I think it's different now, but they're more accessible, aren't they? You can talk to people
in some
on Twitter.
ways, but in other ways, their lifestyle's so inaccessible, isn't it?
I guess so, but there were even less of them then, weren't they? Whether it was, all the sports stars, you were so much less likely to see them, I think.